Council agenda meeting of March 3rd, 2020 to order at 7:02.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building on December the 18th, 2019, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December the 23rd, 2019, and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers and local radio stations on December the 18th, 2019. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision, Public Access Channel 21 at 11 a.m. on Sunday, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Would you please join us in the flag salute? Emily, you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Carriffy?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Present?
Ms. McCarthy?
Here.
Ms. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes. Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor Michael Soriano, Business Administrator Keith Kazmark, CFO Ann Cucci, Township Attorney Jim Lott, and Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, March 17th, 2020 at 7 p.m., our regular meeting. April 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m., our agenda meeting. There are no minutes to approve at this time. Presentations and reports. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Council President. First off, I would like to start off apologizing to everyone here for not being able to attend the last meeting. This is cold and flu season. That is still right now what I'm more concerned about than anything, in spite of what you may hear in the news. However, we still need to be prepared. This is no time to panic, but it is time to be prepared. I was on a group call today with Governor Murphy and the New Jersey State Health Commissioner about the COVID-19 coronavirus. Now, the risk to the general public remains low in New Jersey at this time, but things are in flux, things can change. Just make sure that you and yours are taking precautions by using very healthy habits. Okay, simple things that Mama taught you. Cover your mouth when you cough, wash your hands, are wonderful preventive measures to begin with. But with that said, the state has set up a website with up-to-date news and information. It's nj.gov/health. There's also a 24-hour coronavirus hotline. It's 1-800-222-1222. Okay? If you or yours come down with anything suspicious, please call that number. Okay? It is, like I said, the Boy Scout motto is always be prepared.
The website was what again?
Oh, sure. nj.gov/health.
/health.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Also, there is this an issue that was brought to the public's attention last week of an incidents happening in Lake Hiawatha. Not only was the administration aware of it, so was the police department. There are things that I cannot say here publicly because this is still an ongoing investigation. But understand that there's a bunch of bullies, Mary. A bunch of bullies, okay? Bullying adults and children also. And sometimes the best way to stand up to a bully is just stand right back up to them. This is something I'm used to. So we have been doing that, and we've been using every tool that we have in law enforcement to take care of this, okay? You'll be hearing more soon. But because it's an ongoing investigation, there are things I cannot say here, okay? Also brought up at the last meeting is something I've been talking about and listening and learning about since 2017, and that is the issue with lake associations. And there was a lot of people here that are concerned about this. This is something the municipality cannot control or has any purview over. However, I give credit to Councilmember Peterson, asked and suggested that my administration set up a meeting with the local elected officials, our state elected officials. As it turns out, my mayor's town hall was already scheduled for Lake Hiawatha this Monday. Lake Parsippany, excuse me. I'm a little bit too centered on my home, Mary. I apologize. But here in Lake Parsippany on March 9th, Monday, 7 o'clock. It is open to the public, but this needs to focus on Lake Parsippany issues. So please come on by. I have invited, and I'm working with Betty Lou DeCroce, Jay Weber, and Joe Panaccio. Right now, Jay Weber and Joe Panaccio have both RSVP'd there, and I'm still working with Betty Lou DeCroce about this. But your state elected officials will be there to hear you out and to answer your questions. Okay, there's, again, yes, Democrats and Republicans can work together to solve problems, okay? That's all I have for now. Mr. Council President, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. To add on to what the mayor was talking about, some of you may recall at the last meeting, I asked for a police report from our police chief regarding the incidences up in Lake Hiawatha by the 4 individuals. The police chief did send me a redacted copy of 5 or 6 reports. With the redactions, it's impossible to read. That doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. And because the investigations are still ongoing, he declined to testify publicly. But the other discussion I had with him, I reminded him that we had problems like this in Lake Hiawatha, about 15 years ago. And we implemented bicycle police patrols up on North Beverick Road. And their visibility were a good thing. It dispersed anything that might have happened. And it also made the shoppers in that area feel safer because these bike patrols were very visible all day long and part of the night. So the police chief and I believe the mayor are looking into doing something like that. The weather will warm up soon and we'll have those bicycle patrols out there again. Okay, Township Attorney.
I have no report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Business Administrator.
Thank you, Council President. First, I just want to bring the council up to speed. We had indicated 2 weeks ago that we were hoping to be ready tonight to present the mayor's budget to both the council and to the public. Unfortunately, the state of New Jersey just issued the budget documents to be populated today. So I'm working through that with Ann. We're also putting some final touches on some of the line items that we plan to present. So we will be working with the council president to set a date to present the budget in the near future. The other issue is we had scheduled a presentation tonight by Jane Beeline, our library director, regarding the Lake Hiawatha Library. I do not see Jane.
All right, if she comes in later, we'll
do a go
change
back.
We'll go back.
Very good. And that's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Township Clerk.
No report at this time, Council President. Thank you.
Okay. Some of you may be aware that one of our former councilmen passed away recently. Vinnie Ferreira was a councilman 2011 to 2013. He was very active in the community. He was a soccer coach for 10 years, in Republic Club, in the county committee, and attended many other functions. Someone who really cared about Parsippany and participated. So if we could have a moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Our condolences go out to his wife Anne Marie and his daughter Liliana and his son Enzo. Thank you. One other announcement to make. It's Loretta's birthday tonight, and she's celebrating that with us.
Happy birthday.
Happy 30th birthday.
Thank you very much.
I was just telling the mayor back when the old Rotary was functioning, we would sing happy birthday to a member that celebrated the birthday in that week. And then we would charge him $10 for singing. But he would pay $20 if he did not want us to sing. And we made a lot more $20 bills than $10 bills. Anybody want to sing?
No.
Loretta didn't bring cash, all right?
That's right. But
Dis-
my husband's in the back, if anybody. Thank you, Michael.
Disappointed that the clerk didn't bring cake.
I don't think
He's
anybody
falling
knew.
down on the, he's falling down on the job down there.
Nobody knew, don't worry about it. Thank you.
Tenure and everything's changed.
Thank you.
You know, I should have told him, it's my fault. As council president, I'll take full blame for
There
that.
you go.
Thank you, Council President.
Township officers and committees, any reports?
Yeah, I have the Environmental Committee. They have a member on the committee whose term doesn't expire until 2020, but he hasn't attended meetings for more than a year. They've tried to contact him by phone, they've sent him emails on 5 or 6 different occasions. They haven't, and he hasn't responded at all. So
Okay.
we'd like to make another appointment to that position.
If
It's a
you've made
council-
every effort to reach him, and he has not attended, that's appropriate.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you want to, I don't know if you want to mention his name publicly, if you want to send us the name and a
Sure.
recommended replacement, we'll consider it at our next meeting, we'll make a motion.
Great, thank you. Thank you. I do have one other thing. I do want to, based on some of the comments that were made last week, and I'll try to get through this, but I think statements were made recently about the town's finances that need some clarification. The municipal finances are complicated and not explained by making broad statements that may sound good, but are usually inaccurate and misleading, as they were at the last council meeting. Municipalities that operate with sound fiscal policies generate sufficient revenue through taxes, fees, grants, and other income to cover or maybe even exceed expenses. So making a statement that equates Jersey City with Parsippany to support zero taxes is misleading. Jersey City, during those zero tax years, was operating with a $45 million surplus. Parsippany, on the other hand, was operating with a deficit. And instead of raising sufficient revenue to cover expenses through taxes, fees, and grants, etc., it relied heavily on taking utility surplus, consistently increasing the amount of surplus used each year to keep taxes low, even though utility surpluses were declining. The 1.86 average tax rate over those 8 years that was mentioned, if that's correct, it's great if that was achieved through the normal operating process, but the 1.8% was achieved because of efficient operation and revenue from the sewer utility, not the town. Essentially, the sewer utility was operating the town, not the other way around. So it's not an exaggeration to ask how the town recovers an estimated $9 million of its operating revenue that was replaced with utility surplus without raising taxes, fees, or cutting expenses. Also misleading were statements suggesting that $27 million increase in rateables significantly impacted revenue to support a zero tax increase. And while increasing rateables $27 million was certainly an accomplishment, its impact was insufficient to support a zero tax. And finally, after praising the benefits of aggressively using the utility surplus to balance the budget for 6 years, now apparently in 2018 and 19, it's no longer good policy, and encouraging the town to take steps to more aggressively reduce taking the surplus. I assume, understanding, the greater the reduction in using utility surpluses means replacing those funds from other sources like taxes, fees, or cutting expenses. If there's some other source to replace the reduction in the utility surplus, please enlighten me. Municipal finances are complicated, and making broad statements are both misleading and often inaccurate, as they were last week. And one more thing. It was also misleading to use Mayor Lett's budgeting a zero tax once in 11 years to support depleting millions in utility surplus to supplement millions in revenue. It's a mischaracterization of Mayor Lett's record. Thank you.
Anything? No, not worth it. Council President, I received an email from a Mr. Patel in regard to an environmental support community program that he would like students that are under the SWIWA organization. I asked him what the nomenclature meant, and he said that it was a very well-known Indian organization, and it's for community services. They would like to clean North Bevwick Road in Lake Hiawatha. We haven't a date. I think you'd be happy with that, Nick. We don't have a date as yet, but they would like to have some supplies. I contacted our Public Works Department and I spoke to Marge Wolk, and she said there wasn't a problem. We would get garbage bags, they would provide gloves, and they would also provide safety vests. The students are from ages 13 to 18. I also spoke to Captain Carriffy today, and they would like to have police presence just so that the children would have a little bit of safety. And as I said, there isn't a date as yet, but once there is, then you will see young people 13 to 18 from our school system and our residents cleaning North Bevwick Road. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yeah, Mr. Council President and Councilmember Gragnani, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I was approached by a 7-year-old girl, and she had this beautiful notebook with these notes and questions, and her and her mother are helping me organize a townwide cleanup.
Oh, beautiful.
I think we can piggyback these two events together and get a lot done in one day.
Well, last year they did Route 46,
Okay.
but the children weren't allowed because
No,
it's
yeah, that's
safety,
dangerous,
so they
right.
had adults. We're looking at possibly 50 children and approximately 20 adults
That's
that will be
fabulous.
supervised.
All right.
All right?
Good.
So,
Let's talk more after the meeting.
As soon as I get more information from Mr. Patel, I will notify you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anything else from township committees, reports? All right, I see Jane Beeline has arrived, so why don't we backtrack now and have the presentation?
Okay. I apologize. I know I work at a place that's supposed to be a source of information.
Can you just speak into the mic?
You got to talk into the mic, Jane.
Okay, better?
Yes.
Okay. I know that I work at a place.
Just for the
called-
record, Jane, state your name so it's on the tape.
Sure. Jane Beeline, Parsippany, Troy Hills Public Library Director, who should know better that these meetings start at 7, but I really thought it was 7:30. So I do apologize. I thought I was early.
You're always welcome, Jane, not a problem.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Thanks for your patience. So, I'm here to share some exciting news tonight that the New Jersey Library Construction Bond Act grant has finally been released for grant applications. So our plan is to apply for grant funds for a 15,682 square foot Lake Hiawatha Library branch. The branch would be constructed where the parking lot is located now, across the street from the library branch, so that the branch library could remain open during construction. Once the branch is completed, the new branch, the old branch would be demolished and a parking lot built and designated for library use only. The total cost of this project is $5.9 million. In order for the library to apply for this grant, the library board needs council to approve 2 resolutions at the March 16th meeting, beginning at 7 p.m. The resolution authorizing the library to submit the grant application in the amount of $2.9 million, which would be the match. if we receive the grant, it's a one-to-one match. And many of you remember that when we did the library on Halsey Road, the main library, that was a 3-to-1 match. So this is a 1-to-1 match, which is a lot better for our municipality.
Yes.
So the resolution to provide a 1-to-1 match if we receive the grant, and also to dedicate the property to be used for no less than 20 years as a library branch, and the parking lot would be dedicated for library use only. That part of it is very important because the state will only do the 1-to-1 match if we say that, for that lot, if we say that the lot is for library use only. Okay?
Jane, just a quick question.
Yeah.
I know you said it was 5.9 million.
Right,
With a 1-to-1 match, wouldn't that be 2.95?
right, it's two, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I didn't
No, no,
read the whole thing. Right, it's 2.9995, it's
Okay.
$2,999,530.24. Okay, and I do have, the budget to show you, but, just a reminder, at the Township Council meeting of December 4th, 2018, you did express your intention for us to apply for this grant, and that you would vote for a 1-to-1 match. At that point in time, we didn't know what the cost would be. So you couldn't pass an ordinance for that at that point in time. Okay? So let me give you a packet of materials.
Jane, just as a review, because most of the people were not here at that time,
Okay,
the cost to renovate versus the cost to tear down and build new.
okay. The cost to renovate would be close to 5 million. Because there's so much wrong with that existing facility. It needs a whole new HVAC system. The concern expressed by the architect had to do with the electricity, the structure. He was concerned, and so were Joe Janarone and one of the township plumbers were there. They were really concerned that they would not be able to rectify the heating and cooling system that exists. And then there was a concern about when the walls would be torn out to do these renovations, what they would find. Because as you all know, when you renovate, it's always a
It's an old
nice
building.
surprise, right? And it is an old building. It was renovated in 1994, as many of you know, but it was renovated for $300,000, and it was renovated on the cheap side. That was the money that we had in a restricted fund at the time. So we did a lot with that money, but it wasn't as structurally sound as it could have been.
Okay.
Okay?
I just wanted to make, just for the record, to have that on the record.
Of
Thank you.
course. Okay. So,
Jane, I have a question.
Yes. Can I
The parking lot that there's businesses on Bevwick Road that use that parking lot. Is that parking lot now just for the library, or may anyone use it?
Right now, it isn't a restricted parking lot. It's for anyone's use.
Okay, and when the library is built, the facility that is there now, the old library will just be the parking lot. Is there going to be sufficient parking as there is at the present location?
I believe so. At the present location, we're competing with the businesses. The good thing about where the Lake Hiawatha branch is located is that it's a walking library.
Mhm.
A lot of people walk to it. There's on-street parking. I think we can manage through it. I think it'll be just fine. We're certainly not going to build a parking garage, as
No.
I had envisioned when they first started talking about it. And it won't be as complicated with, someone brought up the idea of using a library card to get into that lot. In library land, that would be a wonderful thing if we could do that, but that would be ridiculous. So we will have signs that say library use only.
Okay, thank you.
Ann had a
Can I
question.
add something? just so you know that there is already an ordinance out there for the renovation of the branch for 1.209 million that would be reappropriated for that match. So the net effect would be about 1.8 million, not the almost $3 million. So you have already approved,
About half.
almost half. I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Ann.
One question, the bid, the initial bid to renovate the existing library and the existing place, what year was that bid submitted?
That was submitted in 2018, maybe the end of 17,
Right.
because
Yeah.
that's
I
when
was on the board.
you were on the board, and that's when we had to walk away from it. We knew we didn't have the funds to do that.
Okay.
So you can imagine it would be even more now.
In most
To try to
instances, it is
renovate.
cheaper to build new than renovate.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And through,
And
I'm sorry.
I should mention that my library board members are present. They were
Yes.
here on time, so they deserve extra credit.
We did notice that, by the way.
Yes, yes.
Council President, through you, Jane, could you just bring the council up to speed and also for the public's edification, that there's going to be 2 rounds of grant funding with the Library Construction Act,
Sure.
and that there's 2 different deadlines, so if you're not approved in the first round, which obviously we hope to be, there would be a second round of funding available.
That's correct. The funding, the 125 million that's allocated for these funds, is being split. So the first round is 87.5 million. This is a highly competitive grant. Just about every library in New Jersey, is applying in one way or another for these funds, because this time around, you can apply for things like an upgrade to an HVAC system, an upgrade for a ramp for the handicapped. So they're allowing libraries to apply for smaller projects. The other thing that's different this time around is the state librarian decides which grants will be approved, but then it goes to the president of Thomas Edison, her boss, who decides which grants get referred to the state legislature. So it's a lot different than the last time around. Last time around, it was one round. The state library decided what they would approve. And that was it, done deal. Now it's a lot more complicated than that, but it was the only way that the funds could come through. So we're happy with it. And I think we'll have a really good grant proposal. I mean, there's a definite need for this library branch. It's well used. We serve not just as an information center there, but we serve as a pathway to people who are new to our community, who, I've told you this many times probably, but they may not know things that we take for granted, like how to register your child for school, how to sign up for soccer, what the PAL is. Things that we all know because we've lived here for so long and we take it for granted. So that library is definitely a neighborhood library and an information center.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'll give you folders that have the resolution, the proposed resolution, and also the budget for this project. So if you have any questions, please contact me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Jane, I'm sure this transition will go beautifully with your hand in it. It will go well.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mayor, this brings to light another problem we're going to have, and that is parking for the restaurants and the stores on North Beverwick Road. Perhaps we should form some kind of a committee to investigate. We need parking.
Yeah.
Before we beautify Lake Hiawatha, we
need
need
land.
adequate parking.
We need land.
So maybe a committee could be formed to find whatever alternatives we might have up there.
Let's do it.
I think I drafted it.
Thank you. Okay, going back to the agenda, we're up to the engineering report.
2020 road resurfacing curb and sidewalk program. The project is being prepared for bidding. The list of streets to be resurfaced will be finalized by the end of March. No council action required. Greenbank Road Safety and Improvements Project. The Greenbank Road Improvement Project was bid in February and is on the agenda for award. Construction activities are planned to begin in April and will continue through the end of July. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Various Streets Reconstruction Project. The Various Streets Reconstruction Project was bid in February and is on the agenda for award. This project includes reconstruction of Cottage Place, Prospect Avenue, James Street, and John Street off Park Road. Construction activities are planned to begin in April and will continue through the end of August. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Roadway design projects. The following projects are in design: New England Drive area street and drainage improvements, Mount Tabor Street improvements, Phase 5, Puddingstone Heights road improvements, and the various culvert repair project. These projects will be bid once design documents are finalized. Construction will start in the summer. No action required. Community Rating CRS program. Letters have been mailed to various homeowners whose houses do not comply with the National Flood Insurance Program requirements in an effort to bring them into compliance. We continue to work with our consultant and the NJDEP in getting back into the CRS program. This program provides discounts on flood insurance policies based on the level of activities in which the township participates. This work will continue through the end of the year. No council action required. Performance bond release, Mazda Brook Farms, Phase 1, Block 735, Lot 1. The developer completed all site work in accordance with the approved plans. Inspections were made during the course of construction, and the office has no objection to the release of the performance bond number 0371144. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Performance bond release, Paul Miller Jaguar Land Rover, Block 693, Lot 9. The developer completed all site work in accordance with the approved plans. Inspections were made during the course of construction, and the office has no objection to the release of the performance security bond number 8253-04-52. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Route 46/Vale Road Traffic Signal Upgrade Agreement. The township has asked the NJDOT to upgrade the traffic signal at Route 46 and Vale Road to provide safer pedestrian access across Route 46. The NJDOT requires that the township formally request this upgrade and agree to pay 25% of the cost of the improvements. This office recommends entering into the agreement to improve pedestrian safety while crossing Route 46. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Major soil moving permit, 1719 Route 10, LP Block 200, Lot 1. The Board of Adjustment has recommended approval of a major soil moving permit in conjunction with the site plan application at 1719 Route 10. This office has reviewed the application and recommends the Township Council approve the permit. We recommend the Township Council approve the permit by resolution.
Thank you. Bids taken, February 19th, 2020, Greenbank Road Safety and Improvements Project. Also, 2/19/2020, construction of various streets. No bids to be taken at this time. Before I entertain a motion for public hearing, Mayor, it brings one other thing to mind when I announced Vinnie Ferraro. We never put the plaque on the wall for Mimi Letts. Do we have a schedule for that?
Mr. Clerk?
Okay, so at this point, the mayor and I had discussed it. My office had ordered the plaques, so when they do come in, we will go ahead and put a schedule together. The mayor and I discussed a possible schedule beginning in April, we said?
Mm-hmm.
April. So we will notify you guys when they come in.
Yeah, we have Vinnie to do now, too.
We need to do now
Yeah.
also. So looks like we'll be doing one in April, one in May, one in June,
Okay.
one in July.
I'm not anxious to get on that wall. I don't think Joe is either, right, Joe? We're in no hurry to get on that wall. Did he hear me?
That's my problem, it's all memorial with it.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Second?
Okay, got a motion made by Ms. Grignani, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is open to the mic on any matter.
The floor is open for a public hearing on any matter. Come up, state your name and address, and sign in. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening, council. Mr. Mayor, my name's Bob Luongo, 51 Farmingdale Drive, Lake Parsippany area of Parsippany. I debated whether I was going to bring this up or not, but since it seems like we were talking about the cleaning of North Bivouac Road and a town-wide cleanup, I feel that this is probably a good time to bring it up. As a resident of Lake Parsippany, I walk around the lake with my dogs probably 5 times a week if the weather's above 40 degrees. And with that, it's just disgusting the amount of trash and garbage that's around the lake. Up until about 3 years ago, there used to be trash cans around the lake, and they used to be at the boat launches, I believe, where the LPPOA has their, where the canoes are and wherever the boat launches are. And 3 years ago, I guess about the same time this whole kerfuffle started with the LPPOA mandatory thing, mandatory fees, the trash cans disappeared and they never returned, except for the one by the spillway. There is still one there. I walk the dogs. I personally carry a trash bag with me, and if I can pick up garbage, I will. But to carry garbage 2.5 miles around the lake to bring it back to my house, you know, you can only do so much. The dog excrement that's left is funny. People will pick up the dog excrement in their plastic bag, but leave the plastic bag. If there were garbage cans around the lake, at least people that were inclined to do so will be able to put the garbage where it belongs. You know, it's not, I don't believe it's a majority of the residents. I mean, it's across Lake Parsippany. People cut through 202 to get to 287. Now the nice weather's coming. We got the walkers from all the office complexes. God knows how many Chick-fil-A and Wendy's bags that I pick up. So, I'm requesting if we can have garbage and trash can and, recycling receptacles placed just about where they used to be. That would certainly help keep Lake Parsippany clean. I know I wouldn't be the only one to use them.
Does the administration know, were these township garbage pails, or were they LPP,
I don't know who,
LPPOA?
Well, they're all on property that's related to, it's owned by the LPPOA.
The LPPOA.
Yeah, but however, if, correct me if I'm wrong, but the town owns an easement from the curb as a walking path. Why can't garbage cans be put by the curb? And that's township responsibility. I mean, it reflects on the town. It's not an LPPOA or a Lake Parsippany thing. It just reflects on the town.
I will have my Department of Public Works engineer sit down with the LPPOA and see if we can figure something out.
I appreciate it, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's what it's the lake. Yeah, that's what I figured it was.
My name is Bob Venezia. I live at 102 Brooklawn Drive, and I was very happy to hear the mayor bring up the need for preparedness for the coronavirus, because as you will soon hear, there is something tangible that the administration can do right now. In a short while, the administration and the council will be presenting a new budget to the public. This year's budget has a different wrinkle to it in the form of the coronavirus. There's a good chance that the disease will have a minimal effect in the U.S. However, if it does take hold, the economic damage that it causes could reduce the amount of revenue that the township brings in and may affect the paychecks of some of our residents, making it more difficult to pay their taxes. In addition, Parsippany may incur unforeseen and unbudgeted expenses, similar to those associated with the recovery from Hurricanes Irene and Sandy. In my opinion, this year's budget must contain safety provisions and flexibility against the potential adverse effects of the virus. To accomplish this, I suggest the following. First, the budget must be extremely conservative in spending. Freeze expenses at the same level that it was last year. At this point, you could institute a zero tax increase, and that would be sufficient to balance the budget. But I know that that's something the administration is reluctant to do. So, I suggest that the tax levy be increased by the full 2% that the cap allows. However, none of the dollars generated by the 2% increase would go towards the purchase of additional goods and services. Instead, all of it would be applied to reducing the amounts transferred from the water and sewer utilities to the general budget, a goal unanimously supported by both the administration and the council. Under the unlikely scenario that the virus has little impact, under the likely scenario that the virus has little impact, the budget would still provide services at last year's level, and it would reduce the utility transfer amounts significantly. On the other hand, if the virus does impact the budget, some or all of the 2% tax levy increase could be redirected from transfer reduction to whatever budget areas are in need. At this point in time, the coronavirus is not an event that our governing bodies can claim that no one saw coming, and it's not something that can be blamed on a previous administration. With reason, in situations like this, people expect their leaders to have contingency plans, and the budget should reflect that. If the worst does come to pass, and the leadership neglected to consider that possibility in the budget, the public will be in no mood for excuses. If you already have some safeguards against the virus in the budget, I'd like to hear them, and if not, I'd like to hear your comments on my suggestions. Thank you.
What are you gonna say?
Well, the council doesn't have the budget yet, so we can't make any comments on that.
I'll sign in later. Nicholas Homiak, Lake Hiawatha. It's a good policy not to have dogs around any body of water because of the dog waste. And what the gentleman said before is a common phenomenon all over. The impacts of dogs is the way is unbelievable. The last algae bloom that we had in all these big lakes, I think I mentioned this before, when it turns from cyanobacteria to a toxin, which kills a dog and can kill a human, the main ingredient, stormwater runoff, dog waste. They shouldn't be having dogs walking around any body of water, and without a population with conscious discipline, forget about it. We're going to put all these garbage cans, and we collect all this waste from all these franchises, and then who pays to have it removed? That's another burden. All of this waste culture, convenience waste culture, is putting on everybody with no sense of responsibility. As soon as you clean it up, it comes right back. You're better off fighting to win. I was a little disappointed when I was here last time when Mayor Soriano had proposed the 4055D17 appeal to the governing body modification stay of proceedings if a organized group or I guess a rich individual would decide to challenge a decision by the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Now, what I witnessed was Mr. Carifi, Mr. DiPaio, Mr. Gagnani in hypotheticals. When Mr. Lott, our town attorney, tried to give advice, it was like he wasn't even there. And with the history of this town, some of the things that have happened in the past, it might be worth at least a public session to discuss whether it's worth having or not. Do we really need it? And the ins and outs of how it really works. So I was really disappointed in the balking and the get rid of it. And I don't know how to interpret it. It's kind of like a Mitch McConnell tactic or something. Because, you know, if Mr. Inglesino was sitting there, imagine if someone like that came back to Parsippany. And he actually tied the hands of the zoning board. And I'm still not over that. Everybody's worried about a couple of dollars for a tax raise when most of the taxes come from the Board of Education, but we coughed up $3.7 million to that developer for a thing that they're calling open space that could have been zoned. I hate to say it, but it sure looks like a kickback to me. And it could be a theft of honest services that we witnessed under Mr. Inglesino's administration. So as a remedy to make sure that things like this don't continue to happen or deja vu again at Parsippany, this may have been the remedy. And I think it should have at least been open to the public for discussion. So, and one more question. Has the flaw in the utilities ordinance, section 22564L, about the quarter-acre impervious surface, possible misinterpretation, been amended yet?
So, as happenstance would have it, DEP just adopted its new stormwater management regulations yesterday, and I was in contact with the township engineer, and we have a consultant looking at that. We'll have a draft ordinance for council probably in April. That'll make our ordinance consistent now with the new state stormwater management regulations.
This is it right here.
That's
the
correct.
updates.
Right.
And the reason I say it, when I was at a recent...
Nick, 30 seconds.
A recent zoning board session, the Liquid Church is going to take the remaining trees away for an extended parking lot, and I wondered whether they considered that quarter-acre thing, if it was being interpreted wrong, and what they're doing is actually proper.
Right, well,
Because they're replacing God's creation, again, the trees, with impervious surface.
That's a zoning board matter. We don't have jurisdiction over that, but we had to wait for the state to adopt its new regulations before we amended our ordinance.
And the zoning board couldn't answer my question when I answered it, so. Okay, thank you. Happy birthday, Loretta.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to speak?
Mary Przicki, 273 Marcella Road. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor for his efforts on behalf of the lake associations. I'm kind of grateful for the meeting that we're going to have on Monday, and we also met on Friday with a state official from the governor's office so that the little people might be heard now instead of big, I don't know, lawyers and things like that it's time for the people who are most affected to be heard. And I thank you for that. And it's nice to see a bipartisan effort on this, that we can actually do that again and hope it will work and come to fruition. Kind of pleased about that. The other reason why I'm here, I know this is a frivolous question, but I know you got an invoice. Do you intend to pay it, or what are you actually going to do with this invoice? Because the ambulance squad got one, the fire department got one, the rescue and recovery got one, and
I'm still discussing it with the attorney.
Right, we're currently looking at our options.
I hope you join our option. Would be nice. Okay. Then the other thing of it is I had a chance to look at the new master plan and the ordinances that are going to come out with that.
And I noticed one in the B4 business zones that breweries would be acceptable. Why would that be when they're, well, people are clumping on that one. Well, except for me. Why would you put one in like, say, on Kingston Road or Halsey Road in areas where it's supposed to serve the residents, the business itself, and now you're going to introduce something that's going to bring more people, more traffic into a residential area? I don't understand why B4 was put in there.
Do you have any other questions?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Mary, that would be a better question for the planning board. who
Yeah, but
approved the master
you
plan.
people are going to approve the ordinance. You're going to approve that master plan because it was in the paper
That's correct.
on, I think it's St. Patrick's, no, is it St. Patrick?
The master plan is,
St. Patrick's Day. Now, there you go, breweries on St. Patrick's Day. Ooh, yay, yay. Okay, well, no, I just think more thought should be put into where things are going to go. And the other thing, since I do have time, is please look at the developments that are going into this township now, the big ones. That are they going to be co-ops? Are they going to be planned unit developments? Are they going to be condominiums? Because down the road, yes, he says yes, and yes, they probably are. Down the road in the future, 50 years from now, you will be looking at what is happening to the older lake associations, when who is going to be able to manage it? That's a question that you people should see in the future. What is this going to do to our town in the future? All right, it's a present day Band-Aid, but is it going to be in a big operation later on? That's it.
Hello, everybody. I'll sign in. I know I gotta do that. I'm directing this at the mayor.
Could you just state your name?
Vinnie, we need your name, please.
Administrator, my name is Vincent Schindel. I live at 3FX Downey Court. I'm kind of appalled to go down near the police station and the post office in town. Have any of you ever noticed the roads there? They're a disaster. It's disgraceful that we send a multitude of the town vehicles over them roads. And I'm sure there are those vehicles that are gonna get destroyed, knocked out of line, and everything else, and we're gonna have to pick up the price for this in Parsippany to repair these vehicles. I'd like to recommend to our mayor and our town administrator, because they have close ties with Trenton and the governor, that they get somebody up here from the state and fix them roads. It's state property, and why it wasn't done when they were putting that water view in, I have no idea. But I respectfully suggest to the mayor and the town administrator to get there and straighten that problem out. I find it hard to believe that no one's seen that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinnie. We've seen it and we've discussed it. The feedback I keep getting is that it's federal property, and the post office is responsible for that road. And Mayor, we should be able to reach out to somebody as a township at the federal level.
You have more connections with the federal government than I do. But, yes, we can do that. And certainly the track road that's right by the police station, the township road, we're about to start now, especially because the weather's just been so nice lately. We're about to start our road repair, so is the state as well. So, I believe the Waterview area is part of that.
When we had the same issue, on South Bevick Road between Route 80 and Route 46, huge potholes that you had to dodge, trying to get get over the bridge of Route 80. I made the suggestion at the council meeting, since it's our residents that are ruining their front ends of their cars and possibly banging into a car next to them, trying to avoid a pothole, that we fix it. And since the county said it was the state jurisdiction and the state said it was county jurisdiction, that we send them both, we fix it and we send them both a bill. After I made that suggestion, it was fixed about 3 weeks later. I don't know which one fixed it, but somebody fixed it. Maybe we need to send a bill to the federal government someplace. We'll fix it and we'll send them the bill. We find out who to send it to.
Okay.
Good evening, Joseph Weisberg. Just a very quick history. My wife's family goes back to 1950 in this town. We go back to the early 60s as a family, summer residents, and since 76, full-time residents. I've heard the same, and I'm not putting anyone down this evening, the same complaint all those years. The streets are dirty, there's garbage, people throw things around. I remember when we did have garbage cans from the town. Many of them were removed because people put their home garbage in the public garbage cans. And a couple of administrations ago, so I can't blame this one or even the one before that, so I'll be even-handed with that. We just gave up. I think the motto in the town's got to be, if you're going to live like a pig, you're going to live in swill. Because that's basically what it is. The dirt and the filth on the streets and in the public properties. I saw a home today, and taking my little daily walk, where some tree had fallen down and there was debris. Inside that debris were 2 empty soda cans. Somebody just picked that up and decided that was a garbage can. If you're going to live like a pig, you're going to live in swill. It's our fault. We do it. Perhaps somehow, we need a drive from the town. And when I say the town, I don't mean you guys. I mean all of us. To get people to live cleaner. And perhaps things will get better. I heard complaints tonight about, or not complaints, but suggestions about the virus that's going around. Everyone's very excited about that. No one mentions that tens of thousands of people die from flu every year in the United States. And nobody talks about that. Well, when we throw garbage around, we're enhancing the filthy conditions that give birth to all sorts of diseases. And I'm not blaming the coronavirus or the flu on that. But the point is, we're creating disease, we're enhancing disease by creating the garbage dumps that we turned our streets into. It's very depressing. I heard it now. I've been out of public life for 25 years, and I heard it for 25 years before that. I know I'm an old man, but it's got to stop. It really has to stop. Or we have to stop complaining and just kick the cans aside and live with the crap. Anybody want to do that? Anytime you want to volunteer, lots of luck. Sorry for the language, but it could be worse.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Mayor Weisberg.
Good evening. Jerry Manning, Rainbow Lakes. So now we have a plastic bag situation, which put the town of, sadly enough, the town of Parsippany to the laughing stock of the county. I based my opinions last year before the legislation, and after it was passed, I thought, well, maybe after the election, the town would come to its senses and repeal it. Well, they didn't, and now we have it. The only 2 people I can think of who are really happy about this situation is our own Mr. Honiak and Jeff Titwhistle from the Sierra Club. And yet, if you were to look up the word hypocrite, you would find Jeff's picture in the dictionary. 2 weeks ago, the Federal Bureau of Land Management told the 4 states that suffered wildfires in the past 2 years to begin cutting fire breaks in all of those forests, so that when a fire does break out, they can go in and beat the fire. Oh, okay. Jeff didn't like that idea. However, listen to this one. Jeff likes the idea of paper bags. Does anybody here know how they make a paper bag?
Yeah.
Yeah. The raw material is trees. How the hell is he going to cut down a tree and cry and then tell us we got to use a paper bag? Consensus is nothing more than a bunch of guys getting together and they decide that the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. That's a consensus. However, the Patriots won the Super Bowl. Settled science tells us, and you can look this up, the process in the production of a plastic bag throws very little junk into the air. However, to make a paper bag, the process throws more junk in the air than you could shake a stick at. But paper bags are supposed to be better. Now, when it comes time for trash, yes, I agree. Plastic bags don't deteriorate too quickly. However, paper bags in a landfill, as they deteriorate, throw the junk back into the air. So what the hell have we accomplished? Making the air dirtier just so somebody thought it was a good idea not to have a plastic bag? How smart was that? Not good. Now, fortunately for me, in my position, I live in Rainbow Lakes, and for those who don't know, physically, Rainbow Lakes is in Denville. And from now on, well, since the plastic bag thing started, I will no longer shop in Parsippany. I will spend my time and money in Denville, Rockaway, and points west, where there is still some sanity left in Morris County. Thank you for your time. My time is up.
Thank you, Jerry. Anyone else wish to speak?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
A motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani.
No, I did. No.
Oh, McCarthy? Okay, Ms. McCarthy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Okay. We're into the non-consent agenda, resolution. That's you.
Let's look at here. Resolution 2020-067. I'll wait.
Settle down.
Come
I'll
on,
wait.
guys. Okay, they're okay now.
Okay, continue.
Authorizing a grant application, financial year 2021 strategic plan submission for the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. Motion to approve the resolution above.
Second.
See you later. Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Resolution 2020-068, authorizing a duplicate tax payment refund. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Grignani, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, Janice, I guess I should have reached out to you. On page 6, approval of payroll and bills list. I assume we have to pass that tonight?
Yes, please.
So wait, approval of payroll and bills list?
Yes.
Item C.
Okay, CF Ancucci recommends authorization for payment, authorized payment of the March 6, 2020 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,600,000 each. Payment of bills from voucher list of March 15, 2020 through March 17, 2020, totaling $948,161.33. Motion to approve the authorization for payment above.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And the ultimate motion?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We're adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Safe trip home.
Thank you.